Alright guys, and welcome to this breakdown on Bitcoin USD. Again, we are on the 1 hour chart. So just to make sure that you guys are staying here and listening to everything, if you'd been following what I've been saying so far during the week, you would have made 6%. That's what you would be on as a minimum from what I've been talking about so far, right? I predicted this fall here, and I predicted this second fall here. Now, I always aim for a 1 to 3 as a minimum, so that's why I'm saying if you were in here and you were trading like I do, you would have had a 6% minimum just for this week. Friday, let's see if we can find something today. If any of you have missed out, let's see if we can get you involved. So please stay to the very end. I've been right 2 out of 2 times this week. Let's try and make it 3 out of 3 times. So let's get into the breakdown, right? So I'm actually not going to go for a top-down analysis right here, right now. That's going to come later in the episode. What I am going to be talking about specifically is what happened yesterday, and we can break it down. So when we were talking the other day, we were basically looking at it something around this area where it was coming up here, right? In fact, it might even be longer. Somewhere around this area. And I said, if it comes and it breaks through here, let's hop in. And what does it do? It already breaks through this area. Not only that, but do we have a perfect retouch on this pivot line right here, guys. I mean, you can see the tiniest of tiny gaps, but that is perfect. I know I say Bitcoin is not a game of perfection, but look at that, guys. Shoots up, we already have a bearish movement, and then bam, we break straight through here. What happens after this? Well, basically we'd be doing this, popping in a short, putting our stop loss somewhere above here, and then, as I said, we're going to aim for a 1 to 3, right, which is roughly going to be around here. In fact, I'd probably put it just on this line. So if we go back, and then we see it come down, and it hits it, comes back up, right? So we make that 3%. Pretty nifty, pretty handy. In less than 12 hours, it's 3%. Obviously, if we hopped on this other trade, it would have been roughly 4 hours. So we've been in a trade for 16 hours, made 6%, right? So that's pretty good. That's what we're looking at right now. So now that we've gone through that and seen that breakdown, that's what we always want to look out for, that quick retouch with a massive wick. If we start seeing that again, up somewhere over here, and it respects this pivot line once more, like it did over here, falls down, this is perfect because it's already come down. It's indicating to us that we are being bearish. It comes up for one final liquidity swipe, and then we go down. That's the difference between these two. We have a higher high, higher low. So this retouch is not valid. However, we have a lower high, lower low, come for that retouch, and look, we obviously end on a lower high. So we want to make sure that we are following the trends with this one. We would not be looking for a counter trend trade. That is the difference here. We are still following the trend. Massive wick structures. So that's what we want to get into. But what's happening today, guys? What is happening today? If we look at this past pivot line, we can see that clearly we are respecting it. Now, this is quite unusual for the market because this pivot line ended roughly at the 22nd of August, right? And even though the line ends, it doesn't necessarily mean that this price point, which is roughly around here, 19553.82, is not a area of, how should we say this, importance. Doesn't usually happen that it continues to be respected, much like this line barely respected over here, broken through. But for some reason, we are respecting it. So you do need to look at what's going on in the past. So we can see basically a triple bottom here and a triple top. So, a double top. Now, this is really annoying for me because Bitcoin is really not making it easy for me to predict what's going to happen. I always give up 2 scenarios and I say, well, if this happens, let's go for it. But if this happens, let's go for it. So let's see if we can actually get something here. Just because there's a triple bottom does not mean I want to go and start saying it's being bullish, right? If we go onto the weekly, for example, it's still massively bearish. We go into the daily, it's basically right here. It's still bearish, but we can see it starting to consolidate. And then from the 4 hour onwards, we do see slight consolidation here. And I just don't think, if we're looking at this, we are seeing a basic double bottom down here on the 4 hour. But we are really respecting all of these lines. We are consolidating. I think today, two things are going to happen. There is going to be an absolute almighty push, or most likely it's going to continue to consolidate. I don't think today on the Friday that it's really going to do anything, because again, Saturday, Sunday, nothing really happens. There's not that much liquidity within the market on a Saturday, Sunday. I personally don't trade on those days. Is it moving up really fast? Yes. So here's what I think is actually going to happen, and here's the most likely thing for me. I think it's going to do this. I think we're finally going to come up and hit this line and respect it, and then we are going to break through. That is a big call from me, because there's 3 areas here. However, think of it as this way. Orders. 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 3 areas of orders where we know guys are going to be hopping in. We can say a pivot line's being respected, so we're obviously finding support. Support traders are hopping in. Counter trend traders have been hopping in all this time, hopping in here, here, and here. There's going to be lots of people in the market. So if I wanted to continue to push it down, like we've been talking about this entire time, really pushing it down to this line here, how would I do that? Well, I would need to free up a lot of space in the market. Remember, Bitcoin is not an infinite source, it's finite. So these banks, these big institutions, these whales that want to come in and play around with the market, well, they have to make sure there's enough free room. They just can't put $1 million into the market and just expect that order's going to get filled straight away. So what they're going to do is create areas where loads of people are going to hop in. There's 6 billion people on the planet right now, roughly. There's going to be hundreds of millions of traders. Even if you got guys from my proprietary trading firm, you just got 40 of the top guys, you would at least have, I don't know, 500,000 sitting there in liquidity. And that's just 40 people, right? Imagine how many people are hopping in. You start smashing the market down, you're going to free up a lot of space, which means that $1 million order that you have can just be filled instantaneously, and that will be the catalyst. However, I do not think it is going to break above this line. I think most likely, because as we can see on the monthly, the weekly, the daily, it just does fall. Hopefully, it doesn't continue to do this, where we can see a double bottom here, basically a triple bottom here, and slowly move up, but they don't have that pivot line like we do right here. They do not have this massive pivot line that's waiting. Yes, we do have so much imbalance, and if I'm wrong, that's where I think we're going for. But I think we're going to come up, we're going to respect this line, we're going to touch it, and then we're just going to fall out off the face of the earth. So that's what I'm looking for, guys. I'm looking for a massive move. Again, if we go and we look at wick to wick, sorry, I've done that the wrong way around. We draw a fib sequence wick to wick, somewhere over here. We can see that again, this pivot line is between that 0.786 and that 0.71 sweet spot. That's what it's on. And we're obviously respecting this 0.886 line very heavily. I don't reckon we're going to get there. I reckon we might peak through the 7.86 line, do a couple of wicks, maybe just break above it, but then we're going to fall straight back down. I don't even believe that's going to happen. And even now we can see that we're touching this 0.618 line. So guys, look out for those sells again. I am not going to be telling you to get in any buys. I think it's still going to fall. I've been saying this since November. That's why I pulled out all my money out of Bitcoin. I only trade on it now. Anyone that's telling you that it's going to bounce back up and it's going to continue, I'm not saying they're wrong, I just don't believe them. I've been right since November, so hopefully I can continue to be right here and we can make some more money today. So let's see what happens for the rest of the day. I'll be here Saturday and Sunday as well, talking about it, most likely going and breaking down, reviewing what we've done earlier in the week, why it worked, how it worked, and how I would trade it again if I needed to. But anyway, guys, that is it for today's breakdown. I hope you've really enjoyed it, and I will speak to you in the next breakdown.